I think for Ant, I need to see, we keep hearing these Jordan comparisons.
Yeah.
I need a Jordan-esque attitude. He is so talented, so gifted, shooting-wise, athleticism, but I think he needs a sense of urgency, a kill switch. Kill him.
Every NBA season gives us a player who catches fire for a few nights. Maybe back-to-back 40-point explosions, sometimes even a 3-game streak. It happens all the time. But what doesn't happen, at least not anymore, is what Anthony Edwards just did.
Been special tonight. Edwards with the hammer!
Because during a wild 6-game run, Ant pulled off something we haven't seen since Kobe Bryant. Not LeBron, not Steph, not Harden, nobody. Over those 6 games, he stacked up 150-plus points, 50-plus made shots, and 25-plus free throws. Those are Kobe-like numbers. Now let's break it down, because the details are insane. Edwards scored 41, 43, 31, 39, 32, and 44 in consecutive games. That's an average of 38.3 points per game over nearly 2 straight weeks. 6 games of non-stop fireworks. The kind of consistent scoring we literally haven't seen since Kobe dropped 54 games in a row. And here's the truth. Anthony Edwards isn't becoming a problem. He already is one. Every single team in the league has a new headache to solve, and his name is Anthony Edwards. It all kicked off against the Phoenix Suns, where Ant went off for 41 points, shooting 14 for 24 from the field and 5 for 11 from deep. Minnesota still lost by 1, but that was just the beginning of the storm. Next up were the Kings, and Edwards straight up went nuclear. He torched Sacramento for 43 points, hitting 16 of 29 shots and another 5 threes. Another monster night, but another brutal loss, this time in overtime after blowing a double-digit lead with less than 3 minutes left. Then came the top-ranked defense in the league, and yeah, he cooled off a little, if you can even call it that. Edwards still dropped 31 points and 5 assists on a tougher 7 for 19 shooting night, but he stayed lethal from deep, knocking down 5 of 10 triples. Minnesota lost again, but you could tell Ant wasn't done cooking, because in the very next game against the Boston Celtics, he bounced right back like nothing happened. Edwards lit up the Celtics for 39 points, going 12 for 24 from the field and 5 for 11 from 3. That performance snapped Minnesota's 3-game skid and dragged the team to a much-needed win. Ant was that guy. Then came the Spurs, and Edwards was still blazing hot. He dropped an ultra-efficient 32 points on 13 for 18 shooting, hitting 4 of his 6 threes. Another game, another win, another night where everything he touched seemed to turn to gold. And that brings us to the grand finale, the Showdown with the Pelicans. This might have been Edwards' best performance of the entire stretch. Minnesota came in confident, maybe too confident, but New Orleans refused to back down. Ant started slow, a little passive, but the moment that third quarter hit, it was like a switch flipped. He attacked the rim, hit clutch threes, and completely took over the offense. Even with all that, the Pelicans still led by 3 going into the fourth quarter. And that's when things got crazy. Coach Chris Finch did something rare. He left Edwards in to start the fourth, breaking his usual rest pattern. Ant told the staff straight up, he wasn't coming out. New Orleans threw everything at him. Traps, doubles, pressure, and he still found ways to score. He dropped 9 points in the fourth alone, but with 7 seconds left, Minnesota was still down. Then came the moment. Edwards took the inbound, blew past his defender, and drove straight to the rim. Clutch layup to force overtime.
Edwards on the drive, got the lane! We are tied with 2.3.
His first ever game-tying shot in the final 3 seconds, but he wasn't done, not even close. In overtime, the Pelicans doubled him as soon as he crossed half court, so Edwards shifted gears and became a playmaker. He hit 2 of his 3 shots, dished out 3 assists, and led a dominant 20-13 overtime run that sealed the deal. Minnesota pulled out a 149-142 win, and Edwards finished with 44 points, 34 of them after halftime, shooting 16 for 30 from the field, 6 for 13 from 3, and 6 for 8 from the line. Anthony Edwards didn't just light up the scoreboard, he announced himself as a real superstar. He basically channeled his inner Michael Jordan, playing the entire second half just to drag Minnesota to victory, pure heart and fire. And when it was all over, gasping for air, drenched in sweat, he still said, "I should have had 50. That's the kind of mindset that separates stars from legends. This wasn't some one-time explosion. This was just the latest chapter in a season-long takeover. From that 41-point outburst on opening night to his second-half comebacks against Sacramento and Utah, Edwards has been the engine pulling Minnesota over the finish line again and again. With this last game, Ant closed out one of the wildest stretches we've seen in years. 6 straight games with at least 30 points, averaging 38.3 per night, and looking completely unstoppable. The numbers don't even look real. 41, 43, 31, 39, 32, and 44, matching Kevin Love for the longest 30-point streak in Timberwolves history. And it gets even crazier. Edwards racked up 230 points in those 6 games, the most in any 6-game stretch in Wolves history, breaking his own record from last season. It's also the highest total by any player in the entire NBA this year. And he didn't do it by jacking up bad shots. His efficiency was absurd. He shot 55.6% from the field, 48.4% from 3, and 75% from the line, while averaging 5 rebounds and nearly 4 assists. But the wildest stat, the second-half dominance. Out of those 230 points, 150 came after halftime or in overtime. That's next level. In those moments, he shot 61% from the field, 58% from 3, and 77% at the line. That kind of late-game takeover simply doesn't happen in today's league. The last player to do it, to drop 150-plus points, 50-plus field goals, and 25-plus free throws after halftime across 6 games, was Kobe Bryant back in March 2007, during the stretch where he dropped 50-plus in 4 straight games and won his second scoring title. And now, Anthony Edwards is matching that. It doesn't matter how much pressure defenses send at him, traps, doubles, entire game plans built just to stop him, he still finds ways to cook. That's superstar territory. So how did he become almost unguardable? It comes down to one thing. Anthony Edwards has evolved into a true 3-level scorer. That means he can beat you from anywhere, deep, mid-range, or right at the rim. But to understand how he got here, you've got to rewind to last season. Before then, Edwards had never averaged more than 3 made threes per game or taken more than 8 attempts per night. Then everything changed. He leveled up in a massive way. He turned into one of the highest volume 3-point shooters in the entire NBA, second only to Steph Curry in heat check confidence. He became a straight-up flamethrower, led the league in total threes made, and defenders had to pick him up the second he crossed half court. His pull-up game turned lethal, one of the most dangerous weapons in basketball. But by the playoffs, teams adjusted. They blitzed him, threw doubles, trapped him, anything to get the ball out of his hands. And yeah, it worked sometimes. You could see the frustration, the struggles in crunch time. He'd get boxed in, forced to pass, and that burned him. So what did Ant do? He went to work. The man spent his offseason grinding on every weakness. Post moves, faster catch-and-shoot mechanics, smoother mid-range pull-ups. He wanted to make sure no defense could ever trap him again. And all that sweat and grind is already paying off. This season, Edwards is shooting 41.8% on 8.5 threes per game, ranking top 10 in 3-point volume league-wide. His mid-range is cleaner than ever, hitting a career-high 40% on 3 attempts per game, and he's still finishing 71% at the rim. Elite numbers even with more jump shots mixed in. He's also drawing a career-high 7.5 free throws per game, proving defenses can't stop him without fouling. That's the complete offensive package. Power, finesse, confidence, all rolled into one. Right now, there's no shot you can comfortably give him. He's too explosive off the dribble, too deadly from range, and too strong at the rim. Basically, he's a walking nightmare for defenders. And get this, during this stretch, Edwards has been splashing 50% of his threes, including some off the catch that look effortless. Even without the ball, he's burning defenses. He's hitting an insane 53.1% on catch-and-shoot threes, ranking in the 88th percentile for spot-up plays according to NBA.com. Anthony Edwards isn't just hot. He's rewriting what unguardable looks like in today's game. His mid-range game has officially become a weapon of destruction. By adding that extra layer, Edwards doesn't just rely on brute force. He finds his spots, moves off the ball, and creates scoring windows out of thin air. No matter how much pressure defenders throw at him, he's drilling mid-range jumpers at a career-best 40%, turning himself into one of the most versatile scorers in the league. And then there's his isolation game, pure dominance. One-on-one, he's averaging 6.6 ISO points per game, tied with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for second in the entire NBA. That's insane. His isolation frequency has jumped nearly 7% from last season, giving the Timberwolves a true one-on-one nightmare who can score from any spot on the floor. Combine that with his 3-level scoring, and it's almost unfair. He's a walking mismatch. What makes Ant even scarier is when he decides to take over. This season, he's built a pattern. Slow first half, absolute explosion in the second. He's finally evolving into a legit clutch time killer, something that had been a weak spot earlier in his career. Now, in games where it matters most, the last 5 minutes with the score within 5, Edwards ranks second in the NBA in points, first in field goal percentage, and second in three-point percentage. That's icy cold under pressure. He proved it against the Pelicans, playing the entire second half, hitting the clutch layup to force overtime, and refusing to let Minnesota lose. And just days before that, he nailed the game-sealing 3 against the Celtics. That kind of takeover mentality, stepping up when everything's on the line, is what separates stars from superstars. But here's the wild part. During this insane run, Edwards wasn't just scoring a lot, he was doing it efficiently. Over those 6 games, he shot 55% from the field, 48% from deep on 62 attempts, and 40 for 53 from the free throw line, giving him a 69% true shooting percentage. That's video game level efficiency for someone putting up those kinds of numbers. He's proving you can be a high-volume scorer and efficient at the same time, something critics said he couldn't do. But scoring isn't the whole story. Edwards' gravity changes the entire floor. When defenses send doubles, he reads them perfectly, creating open looks for teammates. Guys like Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are cashing in thanks to his playmaking. You saw it against the Pelicans in overtime. They threw everything at Ant, and he calmly shifted gears, dropping 3 key assists to close out the win. Put it all together: elite scoring, killer efficiency, off-ball movement, and clutch playmaking. And you've got a player who's more than dominant. He's a full-blown problem for every defense in the league. And here's something that doesn't get talked about enough: his leadership. Edwards isn't just growing as a scorer, he's maturing as the guy in Minnesota. It all starts with accountability. When things go wrong, he doesn't duck questions, he owns it. After a slow start earlier this season, Edwards admitted the Wolves hadn't been playing with the same urgency, especially on defense. He told reporters straight up what Coach Finch said: "Coach told us we can't just wait for the playoffs to start playing defense." Then he took full responsibility, saying, "It seems like we don't want to play these games. We just want to fast forward the season to the playoffs and then play all-out defense. It just don't work like that. We got to be ready to play any night, and it starts with me. I came out kind of sluggish. I'll be better next game." That's leadership. No excuses, no sugarcoating, just honesty in action. That's how franchise players talk. And the best part? He backs it up on defense. Edwards doesn't just score. He sets the tone on the other end too. He steps up in big moments, takes on tough assignments, and brings intensity when the team needs it most. When the game's in chaos, there are only a handful of players who can drag a team out of a hole the way he can. His mentality keeps evolving, his hunger keeps growing, and that's exactly why he's turning into one of the NBA's most dangerous stars. He can drop 40-plus points, posterize a center, break down a top defender, and still hit the dagger 3, all in one night. Anthony Edwards' talent has never been in question, but what's happening now is different. It's consistency. This season, he scored 30 or more points in 10 of his first 18 games, averaging 28.8 points per game. That's not just a hot streak. That's the birth of a superstar who's here to stay. Right now, Anthony Edwards ranks 8th in the entire NBA in scoring, a brand new career high that keeps pushing his rise to superstar status. He finished 4th last season at 27.6 points per game, and now he's already topping that mark. If that doesn't scream problem for every defense in the league, then what does? Edwards' explosion this season isn't just fun to watch. It's saving Minnesota's season. His ridiculous production has been the engine keeping the Timberwolves steady in a stacked Western Conference, where they currently sit at 15-8. Every time the team hits a rough patch, Ant steps in and turns chaos into control. He's their anchor, their spark, and their killer instinct all in one. If the Wolves really want to make a deep playoff run this year, they'll need Edwards to keep producing these kinds of legendary stretches. And honestly, if anyone in the league can do it, it's Ant-Man himself. He's already led the NBA in total three-pointers made, turned into one of the nastiest in-game dunkers of this generation, and carried a franchise that used to be stuck in the basement all the way to back-to-back Western Conference Finals appearances. That's a transformation nobody saw coming, except maybe him. But even after all that success, Edwards wasn't satisfied. During the offseason, he went right back to work, tightening his weaknesses, sharpening his strengths and pushing his teammates to rise with him. The sessions at the Wolves practice facility last summer weren't just about drills. They were about building chemistry and trust, the kind of bond a team needs to survive in the Wild Western Conference. Now, we're watching the results of that grind unfold in real time. Edwards looks stronger, sharper, and more confident than ever, and you can feel it in every game he plays. The scary part? He's still improving. If there's one player who can make a team feel untouchable, it's Anthony Edwards. The way he's playing right now, the league honestly doesn't have an answer for him. They can't trap him, can't rattle him, can't stop him. And if this is what he's doing in December, just imagine the storm that's coming by April. Could Anthony Edwards actually reach MVP level this season? Could he become the next face of the NBA? Let me know what you think down below. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, share it with your friends, and I'll catch you in the next one.